Should you give that buyer the credit they asked for?
You're listening to Home Sellers Advantage. I'm your host, Aaron Zapata.
And I'm your other host, Todd Anderson. We are the Bald Brothers team at Impact Realty Group with Real Broker, and we are here to give you the Home Sellers Advantage.
You can find us online at www.baldbrothers.tv. Again, that's baldbrothers.tv.
Or you can call us at 833-305-BALD. That's 833-305-2253.
Welcome back to the show. I know that is an important question that you have just been asking yourself. When I sell my house and I get an offer and they're asking for a seller credit,
what if they
get
a credit? That's what everybody seller is thinking of.
Every seller.
They're just thinking about the seller credit.
You are thinking of that. Even if you weren't, now you are.
And you may be saying, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Todd, what are you talking about?
I am talking about the fact that when a buyer offers to purchase your house and writes out the purchase contract, oftentimes there's a spot there that oftentimes they will request to have a credit go back to the buyer. And you might say, well, why don't they just reduce the price that they're offering? Well, the reason is oftentimes the buyer does not have the funds to maybe buy down the interest rate on their loan or whatever the case may be. That typically that's a credit that goes back to the buyer. That's not a check that's written to them that they put in their pocket, but that actually goes to offset their closing costs.
Now, let's be clear, because if you're going through this process and you haven't done it for a long time, you'll realize that there are three potential credits that a buyer can ask for. Now, in the first offer that you receive, there is two right out the bat that they're going to ask for potentially. First one they're going to ask for is a credit to pay the buyer's agent commission. And so even though that's very similar to the way it's always operated, most recently in the last couple of years that's changed. Now they have to ask for it.
New as of what, August 2024 was
it? Yes. So
boy, it's already been a couple of years.
I know, right? So we're already into this second year doing this contract. The buyer is going to ask you to compensate their agent. That is one form of a seller credit. Okay. Second thing is what we're referring to more specifically today is the buyer's credit, the seller's credit to the buyer for closing costs.
Yeah.
The third credit that normally comes midway through the transaction after a buyer has done their home inspection. So they get the home inspection done and they look at repairs and they think, I don't want the seller to make those repairs for me. Why? Because they might choose a handyman. They may not do the work that I want them to do. So I'm just going to take a credit. I'm just going to ask for a credit. And so we're not specifically talking about that credit, although we do recommend that giving a credit is definitely going to help you move forward with your sale. Yeah. But that amount is negotiable. But we're talking about is this initial, hey, I'm making the offer and I want you to pay me some money right now for some reason. Yeah. And the most likely reason is what Todd said, is that they're short on funds. And when a buyer's buying your home, they don't just have the purchase price to pay for. If they're going through the lending process and they're getting a loan, they have the mortgage broker they have to pay for. And that lender is also going to require prepaids. And those prepaids would be prepaying property taxes. So that could be up to 9 months of property taxes paid right away. It could also be prepaid insurance. And they might want 2 months of insurance prepaid. And so just do the math on an $800,000 home, which is on a low side here in Southern California now. That could be equivalent to over $10,000. For those two items.
Yeah. It could go anywhere from 1% to 5%. I mean, conceivably 5%, depending on what sorts of things are being put into this product.
Right.
And so it does become a thing where it costs buyers a certain amount to be able to get into the home. And typically, if you have somebody who's a newer buyer that doesn't have the funds available to do all of that, that's a way to get them to be able to qualify and have the move-in expenses, all that stuff taken care, not move-in expenses, the closing costs all taken care of so that they can easily move in and purchase the property. Now, it is also possible that a buyer may just request for it because they can.
That's true, because they can.
Yeah.
And some of them are doing that.
Yeah.
We have found most of them are not.
Most of them are not.
Yeah.
The because they can category is when you are really in a buyer's market and a home has been on the market for a long time and there's just no buyers around. the buyers say, hey, you know what? I'll write this offer. And I'm going to try to get some money back to cover some of my expenses. But typically, in a market where there's a lot of activity, buyers are not going to do that.
Now let's run through an example, okay, Tom?
Okay.
So if you are selling your home and it's $800,000, we're already using that amount.
Okay.
Now this buyer that we're assuming is making an offer is going to come in with minimal down. They don't normally have 20% down and then asking for closing cost credits. They usually have 5% down.
Yeah.
So in this scenario, that buyer would have $40,000 towards their down payment, and their loan amount would be $760,000. Okay. That payment would be $4,617. Now, with that payment being $4,617, that's going to eliminate a lot of buyers. So if they ask for some money and they say, hey, will you give me approximately $15,000 so that I can buy down my rate? That might be enough to take their rate from 6.125, which is what I calculated here, down to, let's say, 5.75. Okay. So if the 5.75 becomes the new interest rate, the payment would go from $46.17 all the way to $44.35. That's $300. That's nearly
Almost
$300 a
save.
month,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, oh wow, that's not big of a deal. Actually, it is. Okay. When you're selling your home to a first-time home buyer, and they are only minimal in their savings, they have only the minimum $40,000. They might not have that money to pay for that lender fees and all those things. And two, that $300 difference may be the make or break it deal when it comes to qualifying.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah.
we have had offers where the agent came to us and said, look, I know we're asking for this credit. It's really a non-negotiable. And the reason it's non-negotiable is because they can't make the payment at that price
without this credit. Yeah.
And so, and that's not a strong arm negotiation tool. Like, that's a legit reality for some buyers.
Yeah. Yeah. And so as I was mentioning earlier, you might have scenarios, if there's multiple offers on your home, you're probably going to have less likelihood, especially if the buyer knows that there's competition for the home, that they're going to ask for it. Or if buyers know that there's competition for the home, but they really need this credit, what they'll likely do is write an offer for higher and then have the credit so that your net at the end of the day will still be competitive with the other offers.
So in our scenario, if they wanted the $15,000 credit, they'd make the offer for $815 and then ask for the $15,000 credit back.
Let's all give Aaron a hand. He can
with
do
math.
arithmetic.
I'm doing mental math, people.
He did that all in his head.
Mental math. My children did mental math, and I learned from them. So that's good.
Good.
So the question, though, is, should you do it? If it's necessary, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's no harm in doing it.
There's no harm in doing it. And let's face it, if your home is on the market and you don't have any other buyers, this might be what you have to work with. And it's either you work with this and you sell the home, or you just wait another 30 days and end up in contract for even less than you would have been if you had taken the deal.
That's right.
And so we can't tell you exactly what to do in your scenario because we don't know your scenario.
Do it.
You heard it right here. Aaron told you. He gave you financial advice.
Oh, man. I am not your agent.
No, we do not give financial advice. There's our disclaimer.
Every situation is going to be different, right?
Every situation is. You might be in a scenario that that just doesn't sit right with you. Well, then you might write a counter offer and say, I want you to come in with a little bit more, and we'll give you the credit.
Right.
Every scenario is different.
Yeah, and they're not typically coming at you to try to take advantage of you.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a seller that's going to say yes to that request. So if you are, drawing that line in the sand and saying, nope, I'm not going to do it, then that buyer will just move on until they find a seller that will say yes. So that's the nature of the market some places.
Yep.
Like Todd said, if you have multiple offers, probably not going to be a yes to that question because you have other stronger offers competing. But if it's the only one at the doorstep, you don't want to turn it away. Yeah.
And I should even mention, I mentioned earlier, if it's a buyer's market, they might be inclined to ask for it because it's a buyer's market. And you may say, well, if it's a seller's market, how could it be that they're asking in one community? Well, buyer's market is kind of a general phrase because there might be a community that has lots of homes available and few buyers, and that community might be a buyer's market in an overall seller's market. There's nuance to everything when it comes to real estate.
That's right. Location, location, location.
That's right.
So I hope that you found this helpful. Todd and I were...
Oh, I know they found it helpful.
We know. Because as we stated when we started this one, we know that was the top question.
It's the top
on
question.
Your brain.
Yeah, we've answered it.
Yes. And if you did read the subject line to this podcast, you probably were already thinking it when you started it. So see, therefore,
there we go.
I was true. I was accurate.
Yep.
I was accurate. So
power of suggestion.
I do want to flip this over, though. Let's talk to the buyers real quick.
Okay.
And we know it's a home seller's advantage. Buyers, should you ask for it? It can turn a seller off. It can say, hey, I'm not a real qualified buyer, and I need the money. And so it could put you at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
A seller could flat out say no, and you're going to need to go on shopping. So if you are going to do it, we do recommend the strategy that Todd mentioned, and that is to add it to the price, write the offer accordingly, and then ask for it back.
Yep.
It can be offensive to some sellers who just see it right out the gate being asked for it. It doesn't matter your story. It doesn't matter your scenario. It just can be offensive. And so it could potentially ruin your chance of getting a house.
Yep.
But if you have to do it, you're going to do it. It's just how you do it is going to make a difference.
Yep.
All righty. That's the show today.
That's it.
Yeah. Todd, thanks for being here, Todd.
Aaron, thank you for being here.
I'm so glad
I really
you're here.
appreciate it.
You did a great job answering today's question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you did a great job yourself.
No, I did the math.
You did the math.
I did the math with my calculator.
Aaron did the math with his mental gymnastics.
And my calculator.
His mental calculator.
Yes, and my physical
calculator.
My electronic calculator. All right. Hey, you know what we do?
We sell homes.
That's right. And until we can sell yours, we're going to keep coming back. God bless you. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening to the Home Seller's Advantage. The Bald Brothers team is a licensed DBA of Real Broker, licensed by the California Department of Real Estate, number 02022-092. Again, we do not give any real estate, legal, or financial advice. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can call us at 833-305-BALD, or you can reach us online at baldbrothers.tv. Equal housing opportunity.